In our kitchen we have a cooker hood, and it didn't seem to be effective at removing cooking smells anymore. And I'm ashamed to say that we hadn't replaced the charcoal filter for a long time. So it was time to replace it. The charcoal filter can be easily removed from this CDA cooker hood. Here it is. There's just a little tag that you pull to extract it. Here it is. It was pretty disgusting, pretty greasy. You can buy replacement ones, of course. They cost about £15, but it seemed a shame to throw the whole thing away when all that was needed was to replace the activated charcoal inside. So the challenge was to take it apart and see if we could replace the charcoal. It's tempting to undo these screws, but these just hold the magnets on. The ones you need are actually the two little ones on the corner. And having removed those, there's a little bracket inside that comes out. You can then ease this aluminium frame apart and remove the contents. And taking off the top expanded metal, we can see the activated charcoal inside, although I guess it's not very active after a few years. This can go in the green bin. It's after all just burnt wood and a lot of oil, so it's quite recyclable. And these are the other layers underneath. There are two plastic layers that act as filters and another layer of expanded aluminium. These are also very greasy, so I cleaned them up in soapy water and put them in the airing cupboard to dry. And once dry, I could set about replacing the activated carbon. I bought 800 grams of this on the web. It cost about £11, which was quite a bit cheaper than the £15 I'd have to pay for a complete new filter. The granules looked identical to the ones that I'd removed. So it was a case of refilling the unit, and I started this by turning the whole thing upside down and then filling the expanded aluminium with the depression in it with the activated charcoal. It's very black stuff, so it's best to do it on some newspaper and not to touch the stuff with your fingers. I used a palette knife to spread it out. So you just spread out a layer. It's not very critical. It took about 150 grams of the material to do that. So there's enough in those two tubs to do 5 or 6 replacements. So it's much cheaper and much greener as well. Then we put on one of the black filter layers, and then the other piece of expanded aluminium. Be careful, the unit isn't exactly square, so you've got to get the parts the right way round. And then finally the other filter layer. I've worked upside down now, so we have to turn over the frame so that the magnets are on the bottom side. And then it's a case of easing the frame back onto the filter layers. And I found it best to start at one corner, the corner opposite the open part, and just ease on one side at a time until you've worked your way round to the final corner. Don't worry if the top filter layer doesn't fit exactly under the aluminium. You can tease that in later. And it's a case of putting the little bracket back in and putting the screws back in and tightening it all up. And if some of the black layer hasn't fitted under the aluminium, you can easily push it under with a palette knife or similar. So here it is, all done. You have to make sure that the little tag that's used to remove it is in the right place. I should have said that earlier. And this is the other side, so it looks as good as new. As I say, I used about 150 grams of this material. Then it's a case of putting the unit back in, replacing the metal grill, and there, the job's done. although I guess looking at this photo, the next job is to clean up the stainless steel surrounding it. So I hope this is useful for you, and thanks for watching.